guess we're gonna do another one just to show you guys. I feel like I owe you guys an explanation. Haven't really recorded anything in the past month. Had big issues. Somehow I ended up catching a cold and I developed pneumonia. So I've been literally sick for like 2-3 weeks now. Just basically had no energy or motivation to get in the garage and work on the cars. Now that I feel better, I have the yellow FD inside. I had the red FD inside still. And I've been doing a lot of little progress on them. Nothing too much, just because of the fact that basically my lungs got hurt a little bit, so I couldn't really breathe. And all the medicine I was under, I just didn't want to touch a bandsaw or a welder or anything that could hurt me. So I just been just sitting around and waiting to get better. So now I have a little more energy. So got into the garage. We had the yellow car up. I did a lot of things little by little because I'll have to like stop and let my lungs catch up with me. For now, got the car in the air. I'm gonna show you guys what I did to it. And I have the red car in the air too. So we have two RXMs now that don't run, and they're halfway to getting running. So a lot of updates in one video, so it might be super long, and hope you guys enjoy it. Okay, so you got new people here. This is my 94 RX-7 with a 20B peripheral ported all motor that I've been building for like the past 4 years on and off. I focus a little bit on it, and I just get discouraged because issues with parts that I can't find, or people sell me shit that doesn't work and just throw the car in the corner. So now we're finally getting back to it. So I'm gonna show you guys what I did to it to try to help the progress get faster, get the car running. Even though it's not the way I want to run it, but it's gonna be a way to get the car to actually drive. So this is a touring model. It has a sunroof, but we put a carbon delete plate on it, so it's blocked off. Vertex bumper, so it has a bunch of different things everywhere. Mazda speed hood. I just wanted a cool little street car, so I just went with a bunch of shit that is over the top, hard to find, expensive, so when it breaks I'm probably gonna cry. But car looks super cool. Just gotta get the new wheels on it. I think the last time I told you guys about this car, I went on vacation and the car got rained in, so it got water into the engine rusted out. I kind of got discouraged, threw everything in the corner, didn't touch it for a while, and now, as you can tell back there, it has an engine in it again. Engine is not put together. You can tell it has something really big here is missing. But got the engine in the car, got the exhaust back on it. I put a factory transmission on this car, believe it or not, just because I want to make sure that everything's sitting straight before I do any of the work. So it has a transmission out of this car. It's in here now. So transmission, drive shaft, power plant frame, differential axles all came from this car into here. We go down here, you can see it's all there, and all of that is just so I can actually do the exhaust. So the header only reaches to right here, which I say only. It makes no sense because it's literally almost to the back of the car. So we go from there, we're gonna go put a flex coupler and then titanium all the way to the back to a muffler. The goal of this car is not really to make a lot of horsepower anymore. It will be in the future, but right now I can't do it because the dry sump I was sold needs about like $3,000 worth of work to get it actually working again. So we're gonna scrap that for now. I'm gonna go back with the factory oil system, make an oil pan to make it fit, and just get the car running. Afterwards, then we're gonna do the dry sump back in it again, or put something else that's better. Change the transmission, but for now just get the car running because I have a lot of parts that were sponsored and are sitting on shelves waiting for the dry sump or the radiator or something like that crap, and it's not really good when people help you with parts and you just let them sit forever. So I'm gonna ditch everything like that, get the car running, make the sponsors happy, and make myself happy too, because I mean, even the cars that make 500 horsepower, because that was the goal, if I make 400, 430, plenty power still. After all, we're chasing sound with this car, so even if it's slow, it's gonna sound amazing. Just gotta make custom mounts. I need at least this much clearance from the rack. The issue is why I don't want to change the subframe is because it does throw off the steering, so you can have crazy bump steer. So I'm gonna try to raise the engine up basically like about half an inch. The goal is to just have the car function the way it was built instead of moving the rack down, throwing everything off. It's still gonna have a little bit of weight over the rack, which is not too much, better than what I see most. I just do not want to cut into the firewall and mess with anything just to get the engine a little more back. We're gonna put chase bay radiator, chase base oil coolers, anything we can put in chase base in this car, get it on here. They're a pretty big sponsor for us. They've been helping us out a lot. We have a chase base radiator on Mike's FD, the drag car, and this whole car is full of chase base parts, and they work amazing. So we're gonna keep putting everything on the cars and make them look really clean. Other than that, I mean, as you can tell, we're missing a big part right here. We're supposed to be getting some custom headlights made, but they're getting made they're getting made pretty slowly. So for now, it's gonna have these holes ugly looking here. But the main focus would be in this car would be exhaust, fuel system, cooling system, to get everything wired, put the link ECU, put everything on it, and once it's ready to turn on, pull everything out again, build the engine, turn the car on, and make some noises. It might be a daily because I just don't think the car's gonna be like as fun to drive, low horsepower, because we have to keep an eye on the oil pressure, make sure we don't spin a bearing because of the factory pump, so we can't turn up to 10,000 RPMs like we were planning to. But at least the car will be running and I don't have to keep pushing it around. That's it for this car. Not that many, like, I mean, it's a lot of things to do, but it sounds more simple than what it actually is. But this car over here is the one that's getting all the work. The red FD is getting a lot of new parts on it just because I'm tired of breaking it. Like, car runs great, transmission, brakes, diff brake. E-brake wasn't working that good, so I ended up switching to a hydro, and Chase Base sent me something. It's gonna make it look really nicely. I just gotta figure out how to get in a spot that doesn't interfere with the transmission or the steering, so I can actually have it working perfectly. And it wouldn't be Florida if it wasn't raining. The RX-8 will be making some updates soon. You can see it has the kit almost done, but it needs a better engine, and then this car is almost done. Just had to slow down a little bit coming in. We're spending way too much money traveling, so I just gotta catch up a little bit, get the merch rolling again, and then we can get back to finishing all these projects. Especially because we have a big one coming at the end of the month. It's the one that most of you guys want to see, so keep an eye out for that. Big project is gonna start pretty soon, so I have to finish the red car because I need space for that car to come in. So super nice piece from Chase Base. Yeah, big hole there now. It is for a reason. I didn't just cut it and hack it up. The thing is that I need that to clear this now. So this is a Chase Base Hydro. I ended up going with a pull-up stock because to me it feels more natural. So I have to put it somewhere around there. That way it doesn't get in the way of the steering wheel or the shifter. So for now, I just gotta put the transmission up, mock it up, see where the shifter's gonna sit at. And once I know I have enough clearance, then I can actually weld the plate to the chassis and run the line. So that's one of the parts I wanted to avoid putting in the car, hydro. But if I'm gonna get a hydro, I might as well get the most ballin' hydro there is. Can't go on with a 24 karat gold one. And they also sent me lines. I have lines from the hydro all the way to the back of the car to each of the calipers. And one big thing that we need to change is that on track I was having issues with the power steering. It wasn't the relocation kit from them or nothing like that. It was more that I did laps back to back and the power steering didn't like that. So now we're gonna put the Chase Base power steering cooler on it. This is one of those parts that I was actually working on little by little. So you can tell I have brackets already made for it. Just gotta do the lines for it next and plumb it. As far as the hydro, I had these for the FC. I never put them on the FC because the car got wrecked. So I'm putting these in the FD now. And I'm actually able to do that with the bracket that I got from my boy David Campo. Campo makes these brackets for FDs. It's literally a bolt-on bracket. You don't have to do anything to the car. Just on both the toe arm and the caliper bolt. Bolt this on, bolt the new caliper, done. So we're just gonna get all those parts from the car. Gotta put the transmission up first. I haven't shown you guys the transmission yet, so let me show you guys that real quick. I know it's familiar because we took this out of this, but it's CDO1. It's not CDO9 because right now we're just doing it in the budget, but Fish Tech bell housing with the integrated throttle bearing. And to make it a little spicier, we ended up putting the S1 sequential shifter on it. So this thing supposedly doesn't work. Supposedly works, so I don't know. I mean, I bought it. The guy said it we'll miss a gear every once in a while, but I mean, we're not drag racing, so it'll be fine. So he's gonna, that's why I cut that big hole. As you can tell, this big shifter. So he's gonna basically put it back on there, make sure it clears this, bolt it up, measure for a dry shaft. I already had it in the yellow car, so I already know everything fits good. But I need to put it in this car, make sure it fits the exhaust, because that car no exhaust. So as long as we put it into the red car, exhaust clears, good to go. Just gotta do the dry shaft, and that's about it. But one thing that I ain't gonna change that I figured out on the red car while driving it at Grid Life and at Hyperfist is that my muffler, no good. So unlike the yellow FD, that has a really nice muffler. The red one just had the one that took off of the black car that crashed. So I mean, it was a Blitz Nerd spec, wasn't a bad muffler, but when you look through here, you see 5-inch tip. Let me see, you can see it, you see how small it gets to. If you see it this way, you can tell better. It went from 3-inch to 2.5, which is not good. The issue with that is that I was going from 3.5 to 3-inch to 2.5. So I was making a lot of back pressure. So now I'm just gonna end up chopping the muffler. I mean, the muffler is broken, so I'm gonna rebuild the muffler myself. It's not that hard when you can actually know how to weld. The plan is cut the muffler, put this 3.5-inch tubing through it, fill it with the packing, weld it back shut, and then convert the muffler from a 2.5-inch to a 3.5-inch. We'll make the car a little bit louder, but also make the car breathe better. Because one thing I did notice when I pulled the muffler off the car on track, the car felt like it picked up like 20-30 more horsepower or more even. So I'm gonna see how the car feels now with this on. And regardless, with the new muffler on, new transmission, everything brand new, we are gonna go back to the dyno and see if we can actually push like the 550 we want out of the car that we couldn't do because of the factory transmission. So now with a good transmission, we'll be able to push the car harder and make more power. And if we break the diff, I have the 8.8 swap for already. I just do not want to go to that point yet, so I'm just gonna keep the car in a medium happy 550, and I should be fine with the factory diff. Now I just gotta get that in there, into the car, close the garage. When it rains in Florida, it gets super humid, as you can tell. So I gotta close the garage, get the AC rolling back in here, put the transmission in, and then knock out some work on the car. Hopefully get all the trace-based parts on the car today, and just do the mock-up for the exhaust and the dry shaft basically later tonight or tomorrow. So about an hour later, I got the transmission in so I can actually position the hydro, and everything looks super cool. I had to cut a little bit of the dash apart so I can get to the shifter so it doesn't hit. That's how it looks now. So you're sitting in the seat, hydro's close enough, and the shifter's right there, so you can just go from here straight down. Well, I gotta mount it still, but you get the point. But basically from here straight down, and then over here to pull the car in gear. So just gotta trim that piece a little bit to clear, because you can see right there it did go a little bit into the dash. Not a big deal. Now that's in, I'm gonna put the exhaust on. Hopefully everything clears. I can just modify the muffler, and I don't have to do a whole new exhaust. Right now the downpipe's like almost sitting on the bell housing because it's a little bit bigger, but I'm hoping it won't touch. We'll see. Gonna be putting the Fish Tech diff brace on it. Eliminates the PPF because you no longer have the factory transmission. So it's a big piece. We tested it with them. We bent the first ones on Mike's FD, so now they made it way stiffer. So it's gonna bolt it on. Once it's bolted up, I can actually measure for the dry shaft. So this is the part that we actually ended up bending before. You can see they made it really thick. I'm not gonna bend anymore, so it's gonna bolt it on the car to get the diff to actually sit the right spot. And that should be it. Super nice piece. It's such a shame that you won't be able to see it unless you put the car in the air. But this should help the car stiffen up the back of the car, so we should not break diffs anymore, hopefully. Alright, so I got the brace in, as you can see. But we ran into our first issue, which is that the exhaust is not gonna fit. So we come over here. I couldn't bolt the front of it because it's literally hitting the exhaust. So I'm gonna have to cut here, angle it up, around, and over here too. Right here we're hitting the transmission, so I'm gonna have to cut over there and just run into this pocket right here, which I didn't want to do because that's where my feet are at. That shit already gets hot, so I'm gonna run a little bit this way, around, then come up this way, over this brace right here, and back to over here. I kind of figured the exhaust wasn't really gonna fit, so it's not a big deal. The only thing I'm worried about is that the exhaust has been expanding, so it's no longer oval. So between oval and being round, because it kind of exploded a little bit. So I'm gonna have a hard time getting it to match, but I need to order pipe cuts, figure that out, get it knocked out. And besides that, the lines already ran to the hydro, they're already installed, so I can show you real quick. Installed, the lines are plumbed, and they fit really nicely. They go into here with a bulkhead fitting into the car, and then they go to a T-fitting to the hydro. Now that all that is done, just gotta order some parts to do the exhaust and a couple of fittings, such as the fitting for the power steering course. I have to order a 90 to go this way up there to the rack, and then 90 come up this way to go to the reservoir. Not a lot of work, but a bunch of little things that will add up pretty fast. And in the meantime, while that shows up, I'm just gonna go ahead and cut the muffler, start doing the surgery to make it a true 3.5-inch muffler, and that should be it. Car should be running hopefully by the end of the month. Like I said, just keep an eye out for the content. It's gonna pick up. I have Mike's repo in the backyard. We're about to start working it out, and as well as the big projects coming in at the end of the month. So that car needs to be done because that big project cannot be outside. I'm not gonna let that car sit outside. And I can't wait to show you guys that car, so make sure you guys subscribe if you're not already, and then check out the merch.